Hi Mastermind members, I've got a video for you to show you how I run a US market scan and selected 2 short trades. But before I can show you the video, I just need to do my housekeeping and go through my disclaimer. So as you know, I'm not here to provide you with personal investment advice, and I am showing you a lot of chart in these videos, and they're for educational purposes only, so that you can understand and see how I make my investment decisions and understand what's going through my head at that point in time. So I'd just like to take a moment just to review that, and then we'll get into the video. In this video, I want to show you how I run a market scan on the US markets on the short side, and I'm going to run a scan on a day that I chose 2 shares that I actually have positions open on, so I can show you the process that I went through. So in my exploration, I have all my scans set up, and I have copied my daily long system and my daily short system scans and set them up to run across the US shares. So I've got a custom folder of the US shares set up with Data HQ. So all you need to do if you want to do this is you pick the scan that you want to copy, you highlight it, you press copy, and then I just changed the name and added US after it, so I had another scan in my list. And that way I kept them separate so that when I ran it, it had the particular shares I wanted to run the scan across linked to it automatically, and I didn't have to clear them out all the time. So on this day, this is the 4th of May, I'm going to run my long and my short scan across the US markets on the S&P 500. Okay, so I highlight the long system, I press explore, and I have the S&P 500 shares linked in here. And then I say OK. When the scan is run, there are no shares to look at with the long system. So I close it down, I go to the short system, I press explore, I say OK, click on reports, and there is a lot of shares here to look at with the short system. Now there'd be over 50 shares in here, so that's way too many for me to wade through. So what I'm going to do instead is narrow the scan down and just run it across the top 100 stocks of the US instead. So I close that down, I press explore, I'm going to remove all, I'm going to add securities, and I'll go upper level and into the S&P 100. And I've set these custom folders up from Data HQ. Select all, open, OK, run the scan. Okay, now I click on reports, and we can see there's not as many to look at as there was before. So I'm going to go through the process of viewing all these shares and seeing if there's something that I like to place a short trade on. So I'll open up each of the charts. We can clearly see just from those 2 scans that currently in the American market the short side is winning. I mean, there was over 50 shares in the daily scan and nothing in the long scan on this particular day on the 4th of May. So I know where the strength is in the market. So I'll close that down and I'll close that down. Okay, so this is the first one I have on my screen, and I just go through my usual process of looking where support and resistance lines have been, where the share price currently is. And sometimes I might need to zoom out. I can see another resistance level at this price point, and currently this share has broken through both of these levels. So that looks good, and it's also broken through the round number of $30. So that definitely interests me, so I'm going to minimize that, and I'll look at the next one. Well, this one looks like it's just going sideways. There hasn't been a break like the other one has had. So at the present time, it's a bit hard to tell. There's $60 there. I'm just going to go to the weekly chart. I can see $60 touch, touch, touch. The wicks have gone through, but it's touched there. So there is strong support at $60 for this share. So at the moment there's immediate support, so I'm not interested. So I'll close that. Okay, this one looks like it's had a very strong fall recently. It's come off from its highs up here of $88 and has pretty much been falling. So I'll just zoom out. It looks like it is a sideways trending share too. So it's been range trading, you could say. can see a bit of resistance at a few levels in here, but I'm mainly interested in support at this point in time. Okay, so you can see there's a bit of support around that level where it's touched, and it has broken through. So let's have a look at the weekly chart. Clearly broken through there, so that's clearly in a downtrend. So I'm going to minimize that one, and I'll come back and have a look at it. Have a look at this one. This one's had a very strong fall of late. I can see where it had resistance from the past there. Looks like its next lot of supports around this level. It's amazing when you zoom out sometimes so you can see some history around those price points. Go to the weekly. I can see that this share pretty much came up to its highs. Couldn't go any higher. It's come off and now it's falling away. So it hasn't quite double topped, but it's fairly close there. So this share gets my attention as well. And it's trading at $50.64. So if it was to break through $50, I'd be interested because this is far enough away that I'd have a profitable or a trade at break even, so it's not immediate. So I like what I see there as well, so I'll minimize that. Okay, let's have a look at this one. I can see there's been some support built up around this level. I'll zoom out, I'll go to the weekly chart. Okay, I can see this share has made some highs just recently around these price levels, come off, got really nice support around here, tried to stay within there and has broken through. So that looks interesting. Next support after that would probably be around that price point. I mean, you could play around with it. So that's far enough away. So I definitely like what I see in this one, so I'm going to minimize that one. Okay, this one's had a nice gap down and a move down. Looks like it's a long-term trending, sideways trending share of late, which it is. You can see that's where its lows of the past have been, and it has developed a bit of support in this area here, and a bit of a downward sloping line, I would say. Or maybe not, might be a horizontal line. Let's have a look. Yeah, horizontal line. So let's delete that off. It's been ranging in here and it has broken through, but it's coming down to these points in here. So let's have a look at the daily chart. So there's quite a few support areas in here that this share's been having created over time, and it's gapped through this line and it's moving down again. So definitely had some very strong falls in there. Could be some more downside, but it does tend to sort of swing in quite wide ranges and churn sideways, so it doesn't look quite as attractive as some of the other ones that I've seen, and it has already had a strong move already, because I don't like to buy when there's already been a strong move with the daily system, because I'm only in it for a short amount of time compared to the weekly system. So, and I can see the MACD starting to come up. So I'm going to reject this one. Okay, this one looks like it might have some support around this level. Let's zoom out a bit. Oh, yep, clearly seen it's been churning sideways for some time, so it hasn't got that far to go. It's got some immediate support coming up at the moment. So I'll reject that one. Well, this looks like another sideways trending share too, so there's quite a bit of sideways action going on in here. And there's no break of this one yet, so I'm going to reject that one. Wow, this one's had a huge break, only fallen $10 in a day, and has fallen even lower. Looks like that one from earlier on. So let's have a look at the weekly chart, and it's just come down to some support levels of the past, which is interesting, which it's just breaking through. It's broken through with a doji candle, so another nice gap move, bit of indecision, but it has had a huge move of late. So there has been a strong move in here already. So I'm going to reject that one. Avon Products. Currently just churning sideways, so you can see where it's built some support up in here. Near touch, and series of touches. You could bring it up a bit higher, but no matter where I put it, it's also coming down near $30. You probably see the next line. Yep, those ones on $30. So immediate support, so I'll reject that one. Okay, next one. This one just looks like a sideways trending share. Not interested, so I'll reject that one. Okay, this one's looks like it might have support as well. Yeah, around $12. There's could be a bit higher from these points. Touch. So there's two zones in there, and at the moment it hasn't broken, so I'm going to reject that one. So I'm back to the beginning now, and what I'm basically looking at now is I've narrowed down the shares. There was 12 that came up in the scan, and I've narrowed it down to 4 that I like. Now I'm going to now go back through these, and anything I don't like I'll reject them until I'm left with 1 or 2 that I'll look at placing a trade on. So just from looking at this one, because I've got a few to choose from, I now consider the MACD histogram, and this one does have divergence, so I can see that the share's been making lower lows and has just made a lower low, but the histogram hasn't. And the volume has been strong of late. It's a bit below average. So that one has got divergence. Let's have a look at the next one. This one's had a very strong move already. Has got a nice volume spike. Has had some of late. So I'm aware that it's already fallen from its highs of about $87 right down to $61. So it's had a very strong move already. So I don't like the fact that there's already been such a strong fall in here. There could be more downside to come, but that puts me off a little bit. Let's have a look at this. I can clearly see there's no divergence in that one. This is a share that's come up to its highs, and now it's coming off those highs. It couldn't go any higher, so that definitely gets my attention. It's tried to go higher than the past, had trouble, and now it's falling away very strongly, and it's getting near that $50 mark. So if this share breaks $50, it'd be a good one to set a trade up that if it breaks below $50, enter me into the stock. So I do like what I see there, and it's also got very strong volume above average as well. So let's have a look at the last one, Google. No divergence. Well, it's falling back away, but I don't have the MACD histogram up here. Has had a gap move and has fallen from there. If this was to break $500, it might be a good one to set up a trade that if it breaks below that round number of $500, get me in there. So, and what also I like is with this big four, there's been a large volume spike on the trade. So if I'm narrowing down those last 4, I'm going to reject this one because of divergence in the histogram, so I say goodbye to that one. And it's had a 30% fall already in this stock, so because it's already had such a strong fall and the other 2 are early into their fall, I'm more interested in the other ones. But that's the sort of one you'd add to a watch list just to see what's going to happen with it out of interest. So I'm going to close that down, and I'm left with Google and Hewlett Packard. So if these 2 break through their own numbers of 50 and 500, then I want a trade to go on. So what I can do is set up some stop entry orders to enter me in if they break through those price points. So in order to do that, I need to consider what the ATR is, position size of trade, decide where my stop loss is going to go so I can set those trades up. So currently, Hewlett Packard has a 92-cent ATR, and if it's a break through $50, so I'll just go to my position sizing calculator. Now put the code in. If it was to break to say 49.86 and its ATR is 0.92. So if I go back to the chart, so it last traded at 50.64. It's got an ATR of 92 cents. So 50.64 minus 92 cents would be, yeah, only has to fall one more ATR and it'll be below $50. So I'm happy with 49.86 as a price to set up a trade for. Now, stop loss based on ATR would be 52.62. So let me have a look at the chart where that's sitting. So 52.62 sitting up there. Happy with that, well above the point of breakout if it breaks through 50 and in that zone there. So happy with that stop. So I always check that I like the chart. Now this is a US share. So me, because I'm trading in Australian dollars, I need to change it to US dollars. And the current exchange rate is 0.82 at this point in time. So based on 82 cents, it all converts it in Australian dollars on the other side. And based on having an account of 100,000, if you were to risk 1%, you could pretty much buy, or I should say short sell, 297. So I'd probably round that up to 300. I'll be placing a sell stop in the market at 49.86 for 300, and I would connect an if done buy stop of 52.62 to it. And then if the share falls through and goes through that price level, I'll be entered into the trade with my stop loss becoming active at that stage. So let's have a look at the other share, Google. And so this one, if I was looking if it broke through $500, I want to get in. Its ATR is $12.26. So let's go to the spreadsheet. I'm just going to copy this. So let's keep the same exchange rate. So if it's its ATR was 12.26. Now let's decide what a good price to enter in. So it's currently trading at 506.37 and minus 12.26. 494 would be 1 ATR fall. So I'm going to set up a price of 496 so it's within that ATR. I'll go to a spreadsheet. I'll put in 494. Oh, sorry, I put that in the wrong one. I'll just undo 494 in the entry price. Based on a 3 ATR stop, that would be 530 would be where the stop is sitting. So 530 is in here. So that's above and in that trading range there. So that looks like a good price point. I just go back and I'll make it 532 just to round it. Sorry, 532. I'm so used to Australian shares, we don't see shares over $500 here. So that means that I could buy 22 of them and with that trade. So like the other one, setting up a sell stop for 494 for the quantity of 22 with an if done of a buy stop at 532, and that will set the trade up. Okay, so let's have a look and see what happened to these trades. So I'm just going to go to Metastock now, and it is currently Thursday the 8th of July, so I've got data as of the 7th of July downloaded. Okay, so here's Hewlett Packard. I was entered into this trade because, as you know, I had a trade set up at 49.86. And it went through on the 6th of May. That was that big spike that happened in the US. So this trade was automatically put on at my price point on that day. The share did fall after my entry and I just trailed my stop loss. Now, as I was going away on holidays, as you know, just recently I went away for 10 days, I shut down all my daily system trades. And so this trade was closed out for that reason. So what I did on the Monday the 14th was tightened up a whole lot of stop losses. So I tightened this stop right up to just above $48 and I was taken out on the 14th of June at 48.06 I think it was. So that's the only reason why I exited, was because I was simply going away on holidays. But you can see that the share has fallen further since then, and you would still be in the trade now. So that's just to show you why I picked this share and what's happened with the trade since. And obviously I exited out because I was going on holidays and I was going to miss probably about 2 weeks of the market where I wasn't going to be around to watch it, and I was not taking a computer away. So I really wanted to take a break from everything. So that's what happened with this one. Let's now have a look at Google and see where that one's at. So Google, when we left it, had this drop here. I was entered in on the same trade day as Hewlett Packard, which was the 6th of May, at my sell stop of 494. So I was automatically entered in at 494. The share came back up a bit, fell away, came back up. It didn't do a whole lot. So by the time I was going away on holidays, you could say it was probably near a time stop anyway. So I had tightened my stop right up to just above $500, and it was exited out on the 16th of June at 502. If I hadn't have gone out, I was going to manually sell myself out. So it did go through. So the share did continue to fall and has since gone lower, and the stop itself has not been hit, but there was a period of it going nowhere for quite some time. And as mentioned, I sold out because of going away on holidays, and I may have been out of it anyway because it was at its time stop. I'd had it open for more than 30 days and my stop loss still wasn't at a break-even level by that stage. If you weren't using a time stop, then maybe you'd still be in it, but more than likely you may have been stopped out with a time stop. But you can see that it has fallen lower and the chandelier has still kept you in the trade to date. So that's where that one ended up as well. And this little video is just to show you how I'm applying my system to the US markets and running the scans.